She said that American soccer fans, most of them aren't smart. They don't know the game. They don't understand.
Gio.
That guy Gazpacho.
Bournemouth can take a lame gorilla, okay?
It's like, did you know that Arsenal died?
He's got me buzzing.
Up the toppies. It's hard to up them anyway.
I'm not even gonna comment on that.
Welcome into a special U.S. men's national team episode of Footy with the Boys, coming to you after a massive 4-2 win for the U.S. over Jamaica. 4-2 is flattering for Jamaica. It was 5-2 on aggregate, and the U.S. go through, also confirm their spot in the Gold Cup if that was ever in doubt. Man, what a game this was. We'll get into some analysis of what the starting lineup looked like, what that tells us about Pochettino, what the play we saw on the field tells us about Pochettino, which good field, good players. I think it told us quite a bit here, Mike. And then that striker position, Pepe's making a case for it. We'll see. We'll talk about whether he's got his hands on that position right now, and we'll talk about who impressed the most before obviously talking about the March camp coming up as well. Will be the next time we see them. Mike, let's start with a timeline here. It started early with Tim Weah almost having a banger to start with. In like the 5th minute, he smacked one off the post. Wouldn't be that much longer before we got the first goal with Christian Pulisic off of a peach of a ball from Weston McKennie. I mean, beauty of a goal for Christian Pulisic there. Pulisic with a second goal, also from Weston McKennie. The first goal was the first time McKennie had assisted Pulisic, which seemed a bit crazy. They decided to do it another time. Tanner Tessman with a beautiful little dummy. The goal, we'll see if it stands. It may end up being an own goal. It took a mad deflection. But a goal nonetheless. It was 2-0. And then the boys were just continuing to fly around. Ricardo Pepi with an assist from Jedi Robinson gets it to 3-0 in the first half. The boys were buzzing. Into the second half, it started to rain like crazy there, and Jamaica ends up getting one back through Damari Gray. Only for 3 minutes later, Yunus Musa to pick a ball out, going across the field straight to Tim Weah. He has the time to take it down on his thigh and then just hit an absolute banger of a half volley in for a goal. 4-1. Damari Gray gets his brace, though, in the 68th minute. Makes it what our final score was, 4-2. Brand Vasquez probably had a chance to make it about like 6-2. We'll talk maybe a little bit more about that later. But what a game here for the U.S. I mean, exactly what you would want to see from a fan. Obviously, the 2 goals, maybe not as much, but man, the U.S. looked good in this one. Mike, initial thoughts right after U.S.-Jamaica.
I mean, so good. The ball movement was there. I haven't seen guys zip it around the field in a long time. Interchange of players was there. We saw some really interesting positioning, which was really cool to see. Anthony Robinson looking really good on the ball in a central area. Not something I thought was on my slate for 2024, but looked good. Joe Scally really high up the pitch. That was working. 2 deep-lying midfielders. Weston with a little bit more free reign, kind of going where he chose. Pulisic also floating around a bit. And Musa being pretty effective in advanced positions. It was all really, really good. From the starting 11, I can't pick out a particularly poor performance. I thought it was well selected. I thought it worked well. Tactics were good. And then just overall, beauty to the eye. Like from a fan, This was nice to watch. Refreshing. When's the last time you watched the U.S. play and you're like, oh, I could get behind this style of play? It's not only effective, it's appealing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I realized just how bad Greg Berhalter ball was until tonight. Seeing an actual system being like, oh shit, it's not just, hey, wait for an individual player to make something happen magic. There's a system. There's intention for all of these things. The positioning is intentional, not just, hey, let's get it out wide and whip something into Jesus Ferreira, who's 5'3". I mean, oh a beauty to watch. Mike, you talked about the starting 11, and he nailed it. There were some things that from the get-go I thought caught my eye here of the start. One being, I think that the talk around town was Tim Weah is back. We'll see him out wide. We'll see Pulisic on the other wing, and we'll see Musa move back centrally. We'll see who goes at the 10. Would it be McKennie? Would it be whatever? Nope. It was still Musa out at the right mid slot. Seems like he's very cemented there. That is Pochettino liking Musa a lot at that right mid slot. And instead of Pulisic staying at that left mid, he moves into the number 10, moving McKennie back. And he partners with Tanner Tessman here in the midfield. Tessman, who was not even called into last camp, was an injury replacement, has made quite the impression, now getting 2 starts in a row in this camp. Like, out of these moves, Pulisic at the 10, Musa at right mid, and Tessman starting once again for this team. What are these moves do you like the best? What are the moves? I mean, is there any move to question here? It kind of all worked out.
Yeah, I can't really question anything based off all of their performances. They all stood out in positive ways. Pulisic in the middle was great. He wasn't always in the middle. Sometimes he was right under Pepe. Sometimes he floated a bit. Sometimes he came even deeper to get on the ball. Him in that central creative hub is fantastic to watch. Tessman was really good. He lost the ball cheaply maybe once. He was spraying passes both sides of the field, linked up well, made some big tackles. As you said, that dummy on the second goal, that's just a piece of brilliance on his part. And then Musa will probably take a little bit more convincing still for me, but I thought he played fine. He still doesn't have the most flair in the attacking third. He did get an assist and did play some solid balls in. I'm still not sold there. I still think in the center is a better position for him.
Yeah, I have been for so long such a proponent of Musa moving back center, and I did think that it was just a confidence booster for Musa to be out wide. But after watching this game, I am somewhat more on Musa being out wide. I still think I'd prefer him centrally. Like, if we get Gio Reyna back, who I would love to see in this system, because he was really the only attack we had before. Him and Pulisic were like the only people that were creating. Now it seems like we have a system, and a creative player in this system looks crazy. So if that moves Musa into maybe Tessman's spot, although, like you said, Tessman had a hell of a game. He had 17 passes into the final third. That is an absurdity for the deepest lying playmaker on our team, was putting in 17 into the final third. That's good attack right there. But Musa, I think towards the end of this game, you could say it's a bit of maybe he knew it was already won. But man, I tweeted out as well on our account, but he has some confidence. He was going at people. He was starting to dribble, do step overs. He looked like an outside mid for the final 30 minutes of this game before he got subbed off. I mean, he was dribbling at people. He was taking it down the line. He was getting crossed 2 people's feet. He was dribbling it towards the center and getting shots off. He was being extremely tricky. And I don't know if that's, hey, we're up 3-1 or 3-0 at the points, and that's why he's that cocky and kind of going for it. Man, if Musa starts playing with that confidence, that's what's been missing in his game. He can progress the ball. He can pass the ball and shuttle it from defense to offense. If he can get into the final third and beat somebody off the dribble, get technical there, and get those shots off, get those passes in, holy shit, he will be a player. Holy shit. I mean, absurdity.
I do agree.
Absurdity. Yeah. I mean, it seems though that he's a bit locked in, Mike, at that right mid spot. Pochettino loves him there. What's not locked down, but might be somewhat getting locked down, is that striker position. Pepe getting on the scoreboard, passes up, giving it to Christian Pulisic, who ran through in wide open to his left for a curled shot around the keeper, getting a goal in this one. 2 goals in 2 games. You're a striker. It's about scoring goals. I mean, I think there's certain chances Pepe maybe could have done better. You can't argue with stats, Mike. I mean, I know a lot of people are injured, but does he have his hands on that striker position right now? I think we've had that shoe in for a while, but he's scoring for club for PSV, and he's also scoring for U.S. men's national team. I can't think that he's still super sub status. No.
No, he's taken the most of his opportunity for sure. 3 games under Poch, 3 goals from him. I mean, you can't ask for more. He's looked like a true striker. Neither of the goals were like thunderbolts, but they were shots on target in areas where the keeper can't get the ball. That's what you ask for your striker. Just put it on net, put it in that spot. I guess a good goalkeeper too. Great play from him. I thought his interconnecting play was solid. That's not one of his strongest suits, but he was dropping into some holes, creating space for McKennie and Pulisic to get in behind as well, and linking up just fine. I don't think he lost the ball on too many occasions. Balogun's still going to be tough competition for sure, but 3 goals for the new coach. You're putting yourself in his good graces. You're definitely playing yourself into the argument for that starting spot. If I had to pick right now, it's him until he shows me a poor string of games. On the other hand, Brandon Vasquez has played himself out of contention, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Sure, it's harsh on a sub, but dude should have scored. Just doesn't look like he has it at all.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough because Brandon Vasquez for a while was not the greatest option, but he was very consistent in terms of his finishing. He was clinical. In these past 2 games, he's had a couple chances. Admittedly, in Jamaica, the field was tough. It's bouncing. It's weird. You could say tonight it's rainy, but oh my God, the
How many
chances
excuses are we
he
gonna pull
had.
out?
I know the chances he had tonight, like tonight alone, he should have had at least a goal, at minimum a goal, possibly 2. Like he had a lot of chances. I think, yeah. I mean, it's once people get healthy, he's probably out of the picture. But man, he really missed some opportunities there. Pepe did not miss his opportunity. I think he has a hold on the job right now. It's going to take Balogun having good club form. Now, the next time they meet is going to be in March. So there's plenty of time for Balogun to go on some run of form. But, I mean, if Pepe continues the scoring he's in club form and has scored in every single game he's played for Poch, I mean, how could you not stop?
It's a no-brainer. You got to start.
If you're a striker and you're scoring every single game, you're going to be doing all right. With that being said, 4 goals in this one. Maybe not the most goals the U.S. has scored. Maybe against like the Martiniques, the small ones in the Gold Cup. We scored more goals. We had more attack. But has the U.S. ever that we've watched looked this good systematically, attacking wise, ball movement? Because I can't think. I think the Nations League against Canada, we looked awfully good, and Mexico as well under BJ Callahan. It looked free moving, but I can't remember it looking this systematically flowing and free. It looked like it was like it just so fluid, but also so structured in that fluid tactics. Have you seen, or can you remember any time the U.S. has this good, Mike, within a system?
I'd be going back to the Klinsmann days if I was going to make a comparison. It's been a long while. No, but from my memory, no. This looked really great. You could see some new ideas being tested. Players really bought into it. What to create, really seem unpressured. Maybe that's part on Jamaica not being great, missing some key players, part of it. But I think it's just a testament to the play, to the tactics. Both our center backs will be able to get involved. We're having time on the ball. We're unpressured. Matt Turner wasn't being asked to use a ball all that often. There was maybe one stretch in the second half, kind of when we played poorly, right after halftime, where there were a few possession mistakes. But other than that, everything really works seamlessly. I thought the interchange on players was working well. I thought certain guys kind of held down their spot you could see where they were restricted, and then other guys floated. I can't pick out anything that I didn't like. I thought it all worked really well.
Yeah. I mean, it seems a lot like almost Chelsea's system from last season of watching Premier League, and obviously a bit more successful because it is against, Jamaica, not a Premier League side. But I mean, you see last year with Chelsea, you could see, okay, they have a lot of attacking system wise. It looks really good. They're creating chances, and it just wasn't being finished off. It maybe didn't look that polished. The US did look a little bit more polished in it. The connections were coming off. It was looking great. You could see it. There were still some defensive breakdowns, which is also part of what Chelsea looked like last season. They were shipping in some goals there, and certainly this time the US kind of let off the gas and got some goals late here to make it look a little bit more flattering to Jamaica. But I mean, you talked about it a little bit earlier. Anthony Robinson moving in centrally. He was playing. I mean, Pochettino loves the box type things in the midfield, and he had Jedi Robinson and Tanner Tessman at the bottom of that box with Pulisic and McKennie. And at the other side of it, he had Weah being the one with the width, not Jedi this time. It's tactical flexibility that we like, and it's Jedi being there, and he was able to just snuff out so much shit because he's in the midfield breaking up play.
Yep.
I mean, defensively, attacking wise, everything worked. I'm like that trio of Weah, Jedi, and Pulisic on that left wing.
Mint.
Holy shit! Oh my god, we might have something there.
I think we do. That was the big question I had from the lineup was, okay, Weah on the left. That's a little strange. Thought he would definitely go back to the right with how weak that side's looked. But maybe Poach is onto something. You're right. The interchange between those three was phenomenal. When Weston came over as well, you could see the instant chemistry between him and Weah playing 1-2s off each other, breaking a line to find Pulisic either in or for him to make the final pass. The amount of times I saw him get the ball in that pocket between the center backs and Jamaica CDM, 4 or 5 in the first half alone, and could have been a shot on target, playing the ball in. He did to Pepe one time, forced a good save. Like the opportunities were there in bunches, which we haven't seen in so long. Seeing those three together on that side, hopefully in the near future, we see it again.
Yeah. I mean, the last time they were in the state of Missouri, I believe, was that Copa America Uruguay game, which we were at in person, and there wasn't a lot of chances.
So good.
There was, I mean, we were begging out for chances, and all we were getting was some aimless crosses into the box, and I mean, yeah, that's kind of it. Was just that, and now the chances are coming in just bucket loads of. I mean, we could have had like 5 or 6, 7 goals this game, end up with 4, and I think that's a bit because we took maybe the foot off the gas a bit, but it's looking good. And we talked about this in the Jamaica field being horrible. Is the real poach system is going to come out when you have a good field, you can see the ball zipping across. I gotta be honest, I was a little nervous that it's still early. It's his second camp. It's only his 4th game, and with these players, I mean, really only a second game with a lot of people here. Would it look good? And oh my god, it looked good. Like he's gotten his shit across here. Like, who from this camp though impressed the most? Who are you saying, yeah, this person has to be in camp, key contributor every time? Obviously, you have the Pulisics, the Jedis, but who else locked down a spot to you? You think?
The two that locked down a spot for me that like hadn't already done it, Pepe and Tessman. I think those two will be in a lot of. I mean, Pepe for sure. Tessman has more competition when Adams and Johnny are available, obviously, but he looked class. He looks like a player from that younger group who's ready to make the step up. Not too many of them are going to push for those spots yet, but he's definitely doing that. I mean, he's going to need a harder competition, a bigger test to really cement it as a starter, but definitely has everything going for him.
Yeah, I mean, definitely in terms of the squad, I think he's just flown up the pecking order. He's above, I would say, Aiden Morris, above Gianluca Busio.
Should be.
And honestly, with Johnny out, he wasn't able to really get the chance to show what he did. I haven't seen anything from Johnny in the U.S. still. I mean, 20 minutes of good football before he got hurt, but Tanner Tessman now 2 full games, and he's looked pretty damn good in both and really good in this one. So is he above Johnny at this point? I think Adams comes in and might displace Tessman, but I mean, I don't know. It's going to be a competitive midfield there, and this system is indicative of a lot of success for those midfielders. A lot of people are getting some success that maybe we didn't think was going to come out of it. I do think that Musa played amazing, as well as really everybody, but you can see that he's a lock for Pochettino. Pulisic has already been a lock. He talked about Tyler Adams. He knows who he is. He wanted him at Chelsea. You can say, okay, Tyler Adams sounds like Pochettino guy, super high presser, probably going to be a lock. Musa comes in, and you think maybe he gets moved around. He's playing right mid. He's been right mid every damn game. He's going to stay right mid. I think that is what Pochettino wants. So big camp for Yunus Musa. Mike, the next time this group will convene will be in March in the semifinal of the Nations League. We have reports now that Gio Reyna on Friday is back to training, going to be in the team for this upcoming weekend's game for Borussia Dortmund, with Reyna, Tyler Adams, Florian Balogun, Serginho Dest, and others. I mean, you have Haji, Kevin Paredes even. You have a lot of other players that can still join the squad, but those main four, that Reyna, Adams, Balogun, Dest, being joined back into this group that already looks amazing. I mean, where does the U.S. go from here? How far can this go? And this is without all the completed pieces.
Those guys are crucial. Bunch of good talent in the roster, but Adams is a certified starter for me. Serginho Dest is definitely a starter. And then Balogun and Reyna can be starters. They have been a lot of the time. More options, more for Post to play with. I'm really excited. You can never count on having a fully fit squad. That's just the reality of the sport. Always someone who will be missing. But if we can get the big 11, the big 15 guys all available come tournament time, come 2026, no big pieces missing. Serginho Dest is a big piece missing. The fall off from him to Joe Scally is massive.
That is
as
evident.
A special player going to a quality player. That's really going to be special. We need that to happen if we're going to have a successful run or glory.
Yeah. I mean, I think, man, Serginho Dest and Gio Reyna alone just adds so much to the attack that already looks absurd with Joe Scally and whoever else you want to put Reyna in for. I think it gives Poach a lot of options. And then you also have somebody like a Cole Campbell at Borussia Dortmund breaking through. I mean, the options, the depth are coming in, and there's going to be a lot of competition to get onto this roster for Pochettino. Going to let a lot more people healthy. He's already seen a lot of people, and people are performing well. But Mike, I mean, what a night for the U.S. What are your final thoughts? U.S. 4, Jamaica 2. Berhalter was in the arena. Bruce Arena was in the arena to watch Pochettino cook. What are we leaving the viewers with here?
They were there to learn from the master, and so am I. Hard not to be hyperbolic, hard not to overreact when it's looked this good. Successful camp. First camp was rough. A lot of that was out of Poch's hands. This looked a whole lot better. Bigger challenges to come, bigger games to come for sure. But getting 2 dubs in your first real competition, can't knock the dude at all. Squad choices look good. All the elements were working. Got the best out of a lot of guys who haven't looked all that great in a while, which is something we can't say about his predecessor. A lot to look forward to for sure. I can't wait till March. That's a long ass break from now until then. Luckily, we got plenty of Premier League that we cover here on the pod. Ain't that right, Flex?
Absolutely. Subscribe here to make sure to get covered on your Premier League news in this long break. We do January camp, a little cupcake to give us a little fix in between. That'll be MLS players, though. The big boys, we wait until March. Do keep tuned here, subscribe, turn on notifications, comment. We do a U.S. men's national team corner every episode as well to get you guys an update on everything over Europe, especially Italy with Sir Christian Pulisic, Yunus Musa, Wes McKennie, Tim Weah. Every week here on Footy with the Boys. Keep it locked. Pulisic dance coming on out. Until next time, though, peace.